Hi everyone. My name is Laila. I'm the CEO and founder of Fitnescity. So our mission at the company at Fitnescity is to empower people to learn more about their wellness. So we partner with leading medical institutions to bring cutting-edge tests to the general fitness consumer. So fitness and diet is a $1 trillion market. We make it more personalized and more scientific.
Or is it in the calculations? Where's the real value add?
Mm-hmm. So I love customers or people like your wife because they already have something that they're doing on themselves. Unfortunately, not everybody. Okay, they have you to do it for them. So that's great, and we already integrate also with that kind of data. We love it because it makes our data collection process even better. Now the limitation is that that's just one data point. It's great to have your weight, even your approximate body fat percentage may be on a scale, but that's just one data point. In order to be able to draw a conclusion, you need as many data points as possible. And so that's one of the added value is that for the consumer to be able to do it and do it right, you have to be able to collect multiple data points from completely different sources, whether it's your test, whether it's your device at home, what you've been eating, and collect that in a platform or in Excel, which is actually what I used to do and how we created the company, and sort of process all of that yourself and then think about, okay, what am I going to do with this now and how am I going to track it? So the value added is that we do it for you from multiple sources, and then we generate, like you said, the insights.
I recently found out that I have a nutritionist benefit in my work insurance. And I know you're direct to consumer, but did you ever think of tapping into that? Because most people have it in their insurance and they never use it, so it's a lot of money on the table.
Yes, that's actually one of the most frequently asked questions on our chat. Yes. Unfortunately, it's not covered today by insurance because, first of all, well, this falls under wellness, so it makes it a little bit harder under wellness and fitness. And also because of our scale today. But if we are able to do it, then that obviously makes the opportunity even bigger.
Because you said there's someone who's going to read the results, right? Like
yes.
A real person, because maybe you can partner with the nutritionist for that portion or...
Yes, but the insurance still has to cover that, right? So in terms of insurance, so unfortunately, that is still not something that we do and are able to do, at least in the short term. It might change, and hopefully it will.
Hi, I just had just thinking about what kind of data that you collect and then the kinds of analysis you do. I was just trying to understand whether or not, it's like maybe a two-part question, whether or not there was if we just had this or that data point from XYZ source or something, we could do much more, or if there is a particular analysis that you felt like could be done with your software. I'm sure there's like legs, right? You can start to add more data sources, or you can start to add new analysis to your product to kind of increase the value. If there was like particular areas that you were focused on, either in data collection or in terms of analysis that you could think would be really valuable to your platform in terms of output. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I think I lost you. Can you please repeat the question?
So I was just trying to think if there's areas where you can, I imagine that an issue is that you would be limited by what the kinds of data that you're able to collect on a regular basis with this application, and also the kinds of outputs that you would get, like, here's how you avoid diabetes. I don't know. I mean, just random. So are there particular areas you think that you see as like your next beachhead, maybe in terms of applicability or in terms of the kinds of data you can analyze? Or if I wish we had access to, I don't know, monthly albumin levels for people. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there in terms of where you guys want to go.
So in terms of being limited in data collection, that's a good question. I thought about it for a long time because you have to be able to make it in a way that is not too difficult because otherwise nobody's going to pay for it or do it. So in our current model, so it is in person. So you actually go somewhere and then the data is collected there. So that solves a very big part of the question of the problem, as opposed to just giving you a Fitbit and hoping that you're gonna, wear it, which gives also very limited data also. So that's one part of it. Another part of it in terms of data sources is self-reported data. It's not the best data, but it's always reliable. I mean, it's always there because we sort of like, as part of the product, force everybody to give us this self-reported data, which means like your nutrition, your sleep, your stress, all sorts of things that are part of your wellness. So that gives us at the end a very clean, nice data set that is repeatable for every single person. So everybody who does at least the same assessment can get the same data. So that's how we ensure compliance in data collection and very good quality data. So I guess that was first part of the question. The second one is how we do, I guess.
It was more where you think you can go in terms of how you are using the data. So kind of applications of your analysis.
Diabetes was one example.
Yeah.
I think heart care, diabetes is probably the two most important areas, perhaps.
Yes, because it's one of the most common chronic conditions. So that's also a very a big area. It's usually the most common conditions that are the ones that where this has even more value. So I was talking recently also with Memorial Sloan Kettering. So for cancer patients, for instance, where it really makes sense to have, exercise, first of all, has to be part of your treatment. That's one thing. And then or at least physical activity. And then in that case, it really makes sense to track and do make sure that whatever you're doing is actually done effectively, because you don't have much time. I mean, you don't have much room for guessing, and so being able to be a little bit more rational about your approach also makes sense. Makes a lot of sense because it hopefully adds years in your life and maybe also helps you better manage or maybe hopefully overcome the disease. That makes sense.
Great. Thank you so much, Laila.
Thank you.